Good afternoon, guys. Welcome to another video. It's about 25 past 4 now. I've managed to nip out for a couple of hours. It's been a very busy week. I haven't been out for a whole week, but I've managed to nip out this afternoon just for perhaps 2 hours fishing to dark. I'm thinking I might catch some chub. Now, I've not been out this week because I've been very busy, but also the river's been dropping, it's been clearing. Warwickshire Avon is terrible when it's like that. So I've not been in a rush to get out. The days haven't been good either. It's been very sunny and frosty nights. So yeah, not been in a big rush to get out. Been doing some editing instead. But yeah, just thought I've got a couple of hours spare. I'm going to nip out. Oh, someone's after me. A couple of hours spare. I'm going to nip out and have a couple of hours after chub on the bread feeder. We'll go through the end gear and stuff in a minute. But I've got my Dower Power Mesh £1.25 test curve rod there, 12 foot. My Dower GSBR LT 3000 reel. I'll stick all the information of all the gear that I'm using down below so you can go and have a look at your leisure. But we haven't got long, so I'm going to get cracking. I've wandered down and baited a couple of spots up, and I've walked down the stretch. I think we'll have perhaps Dusk in this one, and then we'll go and have a go at the other two just as it's properly getting dark perhaps, but we'll have to suck it and see. So bait wise, lovely mashed bread, fairly stiffly mashed up, and bread for the hook, and that's it. Simple as that. I'm going to go on my standard running ledger rig, which is set up on here. I'll link you to a video up there if you want to see how this is set up. But it's just a standard running ledger rig. But it's a bit more adjustable than normal rigs. Built a bit of versatility into it. Now we're going to fish just into dark, as I say. There's no night fishing on here, it's a club stretch, but we can fish just into dark. Oh, it's like an absolute swamp here. Oh, getting filthy already. I've hardly even started. It's absolute swamp. I actually bought my chair as I was only doing sort of 2 or 3 swims. I thought, I know, a bit of luxury, and take the chair. But it's sinking into the mud. I'm sat on a sort of dying reed bed, and it's sort of giving way. Well, I've never done this down here before, even though literally it's on my doorstep. So it'll be interesting to see what sort of reaction we get. Those regular channel viewers will probably recognise the stretch. You'll recognise that I've been doing some trotting down here with great effect. So I've only had a couple of hours tonight. I thought we'll go to some swims where we know there's some fish, or certainly some fish hang about. It's usually, not always as I find out, but usually good for a bite or two in here. As I say, always fished on the float, never on the feeder. So I've got one of these tiny little Preston plug-it feeders on, and I'm just going to put it over there. There's a slight drop off over there generally, so we'll stick it out there and see what happens. I'm not really expecting anything to happen until the light starts to go even more than it is at the moment. We're starting to lose the light already, but it will drop and drop and drop quite quickly. We're a little bit overcast as well, which is another reason I felt like coming today. But we'll see how we get on. Fingers crossed. Been a right rush getting down here after the school run. It's all done now. So yeah, fingers crossed we can have some chub. I'm wondering if we perhaps maybe connect with some slightly bigger ones. I've had them to just over 4 from this particular swim. All right. That looked like a pull, or perhaps something going into the line, maybe, and then the feeder moving. If we're getting bites this quickly, I'll be a very happy man. Just a bit of a slow pull round, and then the feeder moved. Which makes me think that possibly something's just gone into the line. Give it a couple of minutes and then we'll have a recast. It's the thing with bread, when you had what you think might be a bite, you could have been mugged. Might be fishing with a bare hook at the moment. I'm not expecting it to be prolific, to be honest. We had heavy frost again last night, but it's going to be the last of the frosts, so I might get out perhaps early next week. Might perhaps do a dawn session tomorrow even, just for a couple of hours. Well, nothing came of that, so I wonder if we got mugged. It's the thing with bread, you can't really tell whether you've been mugged or not, because it comes off anyway. The mash has sort of half stayed in the feeder, or stayed in the feeder for that amount of time, half of it, so that's a good sign. It's not all good, it's just going to disappear off. And if you want to know how I knock up my mashed bread, with different consistencies, I'll link you again up there to a video on my sister channel, which shows exactly how I do this, exactly how I make this up. And while you're over there, if you could, if you enjoy the stuff, give it a thumbs up and a subscribe, that would be fantastic. It's a very new channel and been going a couple of weeks, but something really just to complement the vlog sessions that you're watching now. It's just a channel to complement them. More information and tips, helpful advice, that kind of thing. Bit of news for the channel as well. We've got a new patron, a chap called Roger. Hi Roger, thank you very much for signing up through Patreon and supporting the channel. It's greatly appreciated. Your support is really, really, really appreciated, and it's absolutely fantastic of you, and thank you very much. Well, that was a bite. Certainly, that was a proper bite. That's great. We've had a bite of some fish here. Wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. I missed it. Not so wonderful. But I can live with that. If we're getting some bites. I don't do a lot of fishing into dark these days. For no particular reason. Just been quite enjoying the trotting, and obviously can't really do that in the dark. But with the river as it is, it's a bit of a necessity. And I did it a couple of weeks ago, a few videos ago, and you'll have seen, and really enjoyed it. That's it. Right. Come on, Mr. Chub. And the Warwickshire Avon really is a bit like this, to be honest. You need to fish dusk or dawn when it's as it is at the moment. There's a bit of colour in it, but there's about 3 foot of visibility, something like that here. And yeah, I mean it's too visible, too much visibility really for the fish to be out in the day. Target them in the middle of the day, which you can do when it's more coloured. On an overcast day when there's perhaps a foot or 18 inches of visibility, you can have a cracking day. But not when it's like this. Alright, that was a bit of interest. And again. A bit of slack. That was a definite pull. It's definitely something showing some interest. There we go. God, I was messing about with that, playing with it. Doesn't feel a bad fish. No monster though, not quite the monster we were after. A good start nonetheless. Was a bite of a small chub. Looks like it's a relatively small one. Still a lovely fish. Cracking. Well, that's a great start. Definitely no monster, but very, very welcome. Oh, look at that, he's throwing the hook out in the net. Fantastic. Bit of a sort of deeper slack bit next to me, so we can keep him in the net, so he doesn't clear off and tell all his friends what's going on. Thought perhaps we'd have to wait till it got dark. It was definitely a little chub, or a very wary big chub bite. Tapping. Wonderful. I can't beat bread. Absolutely wonderful bait. I'm a bit of a convert, I have to say. Didn't fish bread for many, many years. I thought it was a bit of a faff, and perhaps not worth the effort, but yeah, I was very wrong. It is a cracking bait. Ooh. Oh. The frustration of chub fishing. Always amazes me how many bites you miss when you're chub fishing. Well, I certainly do anyway. Quite renowned for it, aren't they, chub? It's crazy. I'd like to be holding this rod as well, but my hand needs a bit of a warm up. It's gone very chilly very quickly. It might help, to be honest, if I leave the bites to develop a little bit rather than being right on them. Well, at least we're on some fish. We're getting some bites. 3 bites so far and 1 chub. Yep. An inquiry again. It's almost, at the moment, it's almost like they've just sort of come out perhaps from under that cover. There's some bread about, and they're just being a bit cautious and it's still a bit light, and they're just being a bit cute about it. And that pulled right round. And I think I pricked the fish as well. Didn't feel very big. Just felt a couple of thumps. Oh dear. Was that great? The tip went round, and it was still round when I struck. Oh, chub. You are so annoying. The tip was still bent halfway round when I struck. Of course, the hook is buried in the bait, and they still managed to do you somehow. I cast in a slightly different place that time, and it went round much quicker. So I'll stick it there again. Oh, they never cease to amaze me, chub. You got to laugh, otherwise you put all your stuff on eBay tomorrow. Blimey. Tap straight away then. Cast that one a little bit shorter. There we go. Telltale head shakes. Again, I don't think it's a big one. Coming in far too easily. Well, a half decent scrap though. Cracking. Of course he's trying to get in the edge. I think it's these fellas that are giving us all these little rattly bites, isn't it? Oh, come on, where's the big ones? Where's the big ones? Yeah, pretty much twin of the last one we had. Possibly even a little bit smaller. Not quite what we came out for, but we're getting bites, catching fish. I'll never moan about that. You know, at the end of the day, it's February, and I've just done the water temperature. It's 4.9 degrees, so I'm going to expect too much. The chub are on the feed, and you never know, the bigger chub might be on the feed as well. I can but hope. This is the sort of time now where you expect to get some bigger ones. As the sun goes down, the bodyguards are out, clearly. How strange. I've fished here, I think, 3 times now with a float, possibly 4. Twice caught 4 fish each time, but none of the fish were this small. This is on the float, and the other time I blanked. How strange is that? That come and fish the feeder, we're catching smaller ones. You'd think you'd be connecting with the smaller ones when you're trotting. Very strange. You think if there was fish this size in here, when you're running a bit of bread fleck through, they'd be grabbing it every time, but clearly not. You can go for long old periods without a bite in here, you know, half an hour on the float. I don't come for very long, admittedly, you know, perhaps 3 hours at the most. But you can go 45 minutes without a bite and you'll catch a decent one, or anything between sort of £2 and over 4 I've had from here. And mostly 3s. But yeah, and then come on the tip thinking you're catching bigger ones, and you're catching the scraper pounders. I hit that on the way round as well. It was definitely on the way round. There we go. Well, this feels a little better. I'll put the light on. The risk of upsetting the swim. And it's not a monster, but it's putting up a half decent scrap. I think he's found some snags. Perhaps he's just a decent fish. They don't feel huge, but it feels better than the ones we've been having. Real fight. There's a chub. There he is, look. Again, no monster. He's suddenly at my feet. Got him. Well, that's a better one. Fab. There we are. It's about that. It's a bit better, isn't it? We're getting there. Wonderful. We're getting regular bites as well now, so that's great. Bigger ones are coming out to play, as suspected, this river, when it's clear like this. You just have to wait until it's dark. The problem is, there's not many places you can fish the Avon in the dark. The odd syndicate stretch. All the clubs are no night fishing. Right. Well, hopefully we can have his big brother as well. That'd be nice. All those funny, finicky, rattly little bites have stopped. Which again tells me it's smaller fish. They tend to shut off a bit as it gets darker, don't they? Generally. Oh, there we go. Blimey. I was just leaving a message for my mate Mick. He took the rod off the rest. Wow. Mick just messaged me and asked how I was getting on. I was just leaving a message saying I'm probably going to stick it out of here. And the rod nearly leapt off the rod rest. This is cracking. That's some good sport. No beasts. This one feels a half decent fish. Let's try and put me the edge down there. Come on, out. Use the full length of the rod and a bit. Come on. Oh, that's another nice fish. Probably the biggest one of the evening so far. Cracking. There we are, another nice fish. Cracking. Turned into a good session. Fantastic. Well, I think I'll give it a little bit longer, perhaps another 10 minutes. We've been at it 2 hours now. I'm not going to go and fish those other swims. I've decided to stay in here as we were getting lots of bites. The chub up there can have a free feed. Free feed on me today. But yeah, it's been cracking. It's gone a bit quiet now. Not had a knock or a bite or anything for perhaps maybe 10 or 15 minutes. Which doesn't sound like much, but when you've only got sort of a couple of hours realistically, it's a big proportion of the time. I shall have to get gone quite soon anyway, but we'll give it another 10. Just see if we can winkle another one out. There we go. Just waited for him to have another go at it. Again, not very big, I don't think. But we're having a few. I was just thinking, I had a bite for about 15 minutes. I was just thinking it's probably time to start thinking about going home. It's about 6:15. Yes, it was another bite off a chublet. Not quite a chublet, but perhaps, I don't know, £1.5 maybe. Probably pushing £2 actually, we'll give that one. Well, there we are, getting smaller again. Probably about £1.5, £2, something like that. But we'll give it another 5, see if we can get a big one out. yeah, I think we'll give it another 5 minutes. We've had 5 now, so it's been a cracking couple of hours. Very enjoyable, I have to say. But yeah, just about time to go. It's about 6:15 now, so it really should be making tracks, but we'll have a few more last casts yet. As you do, you have to, don't you? Got a few last casts. Right, turn it off, I can see a bit better. No, that's it. It's 6:30. We'll call it a day of that. Get this rod in and get these fellas back. That's been a very, very enjoyable session, I have to say. I've enjoyed that. Something a bit different. Something I've not done nearly enough of recently. As I say, I've just been enjoying fishing in the day so much. Right, we'll sort that out in a second. We'll get these fellas back. All very well revived. Off you go, chaps. There they go. Fab. Yeah, as I say, really, really enjoyed that. That was wonderful. A couple of hours down here. It's just gone 6:30, so time I was making tracks for home. Now, I am going to be out again. Probably not this weekend, more likely early next week. Not sure doing exactly what. We'll have to suck it and see with the weather, see what happens. But for now, thank you very much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed that. Tight lines, enjoy your own angling. Many thanks to the channel patrons for your fantastic support. Many thanks to Roger as well, as I said earlier, for signing up and signing up through Patreon. You're very welcome, Roger, and it's very much appreciated. Tight lines next time you're out on the bank, and I'll see you all again very soon.